Hello everybody and welcome back, where today we're talking about Badminton Time on PSVR2. This is a badminton game that feels a lot like a segment of Wii Sports plucked straight out of that and put onto PSVR2, but it's not without its issues, as there are a couple, but overall it's a decent time that won't give you that much replayability, but if you're really itching for some racket sports, it is a decent option. Before we get into it, only 25% you are subbed to the channel, so please feel free to do so, and thank you to our patrons and members who are all on screen right now. With that being said, let's talk Badminton Time. The game launched today and is essentially broken up into several modes. You have mini games where you can, I think, pick one of 5 that allows you to hone your skills in a fun way. You have arcade mode, which is normal badminton but with special power-ups. For example, you can hit certain bubbles in the air and they'll activate different effects, so you might be able to block your opponent's vision for a second or make something weird happen to one of the shots. And you've got realism mode, which is exactly how badminton is in real life, playing by exactly the same rules with no weird modifiers. For me, realism mode was the best out of the 3. It just felt like normal badminton. It felt like I was really playing on a court there for some time, and I'm just never really a fan of throwing in random modifiers into sports games like this. Arcade mode was still fun, but yeah, those modifiers made it a little bit less predictable for me and a little bit less fun. And the minigames are probably my least favourite out of the 5. They're not really too exciting. It's usually just trying to hit a moving target with a different skin on it. But I imagine with a couple of friends, it could be fairly decent fun. But overall, there's a bit of variety to what you can do here, but you could probably blast through most of the modes in the game in not too much time at all. There is a training mode as well, allowing you to practice different shots in parts of the court, and also the arcade and realism mode can be played in singles or doubles, just like in real life, which is always a plus to have. Each of the modes can be played in single player and multiplayer. I played single player, and it was fairly fun, but I imagine the real fun of this comes in multiplayer. You can search for ranked games, which tries to matchmake you with someone, but for playing casual in single player, it seems like the only option is to create a room and allow somebody to join, say a friend for example. I did try to matchmake, but I could not find a game, unfortunately, for ranked. Visually on PSVR2, it does look pretty good. Everything looks quite sharp and it runs unreprojected, although I did find there were some small stutters on some of the bigger maps with more intense things going on. I say intense in quotation marks there, as it's kind of relative to how the game is normally. Nothing massive in terms of stutters, but you can definitely notice it if you're kind of attuned to that sort of thing or looking out for it. But for the most part, the game does run pretty well, and there are a lot of stages here, and you can either pick which stage you want, or you can randomize for the game to choose for you. As for haptics, you have haptics in the controller and headset. For example, in the arcade mode, you can have an octopus on your head and you feel that in the haptics, but the main haptics are hitting the shuttlecock with the racket, and it feels decent. Unfortunately, there isn't really any audio to back this up, as it feels a bit lackluster. Each hit isn't accompanied by that classic badminton thwacking sound, if you get me. There's just nothing here, and I think that's a weird omission that they didn't add these sounds in. I don't know whether that was a bug or not. There was a day 1 patch that went out today for it that I did install and test again, but didn't seem to fix it. So for the most part, instead of getting those sounds, you're just getting the backing music, which is quite prominent throughout a lot of the stages. The AI here has a range of easy, medium and hard, and throughout all of these they do offer a bit of a challenge. The actual gameplay against them does feel pretty good. It feels like you're actually playing against a proper opponent and will hit it to a variety of spots around the court, and will occasionally, if you really power it at them, panic and hit it out. What I do wish though is that the AI would be a little bit more nuanced when your shot is going out. So for example, if you hit a shot really close to the court, but it's still going out, sometimes in real life a player who's less experienced, for example, will not know whether it's going out or in, so will hit it back just to make sure. The AI don't do this. If it's like a millisecond out, they'll just leave it, and I wish there was a bit of leeway there, where sometimes they would hit it back because it's unclear when it's in the air if it's going to be in or out, just to add a little bit more variety to the gameplay. Overall though, it does feel like a slice of Wii Sports Resort. All Wii Sports has been brought over to PSVR2 with this game. I do kind of wish we had a game like that which encompassed, say, 4-ball VR and Walkabout Mini Golf, Badminton Time, Table Tennis, say Racket Fury, and kind of put them all into one and allows you to play a load of games with your friends, but as it stands, we've got a bunch of separate ones, and this is another addition to that. I have heard, though, from fellow creator Games with T that the multiplayer does have a couple of issues where shots would go through rackets, so hopefully that gets fixed, because that is kind of game breaking and will ruin the multiplayer part of the game. But as for the single player, it offers a bit of fun, but nothing massive in terms of replayability. But that base gameplay loop is good enough, I would say. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. We got a bunch of reviews coming up for games like Maestro and Undead Citadel, and I'm looking forward to getting hands-on with those and talking about them. But that's all for today. Join me tomorrow as we talk about James Bond potentially on PSVR2 and the chances of that, and I hope to see you all there.